What business do I have telling you how to grow anything when this is how big I let my peppers in soil blocks get? Welcome back, casual gardeners. This is just another garden update video. I'm going to show you what's germinating, what I'm potting up, and what's just boogieing down out in the soil. We're going to plant some asparagus. We're going to plant some rhubarb. We're going to have, hopefully, a little bit of fun. Right, now before I do anything, I'm going to want to get these peppers out of their tiny, look at this. Just soil blocks. All this plant is just coming out of those little cubes. And I mean, these pots really aren't that much bigger, but that's just because I don't have a lot of space to put these in yet. Nardello. Oh, look, the soil blocks have grown together. How unpredictable. I don't like to press the soil in. I like to just give it a few pats to kind of pack it in. Now, when you are potting up your peppers, you want to pot them at the same level that they were growing to in whatever your previous situation was. So in my case, I want the top of the soil block at the top of the soil in the pot. Hopefully you can see that even though I am potting up, having had it in a soil block still makes this part easier. Well, you can see that the seed leaves or the cotyledons are kind of turning yellow, and sometimes they fall off. That's completely normal and okay. If you see that happening, you're not being a bad pepper parent. It's supposed to happen that way. The reason I was able to get away with growing these peppers this big in their teeny little soil blocks is that I've been doing a pretty good job feeding my seedlings this year, which is also kind of why they got a heck of a lot bigger than I'm used to. I'd say overall, that's a good thing. It's okay to have bigger seedlings, right? It is bad if your seedlings get too big before you transplant them out, because the bigger and more established your plant is, the more likely it is to get transplant shock and be set back by being transplanted out, even if you do harden it off. But when it comes to peppers, in my moderate season length, it's worth the risk. That's a lot of peppers. But that's not all I need to pot up today. I've also received this package from High Country Gardens that I'm pretty excited about. Let's see how it looks. I haven't seen these yet. Didn't know I was getting two. I thought I was just getting one. I'm happy with that, because two is better. Oh, okay, not by root. Delivered in a pot. Cool. So I just need to unpack these and maybe top off the soil a little bit. Orange carpet creeping hummingbird trumpet. The genus Zauschneria. I believe they've actually been reclassified since I ordered them, because plants just do that all the time. This is a really great plant for attracting and supporting pollinators in your garden. It's going to feed hummingbirds, it's going to feed bumblebees, and it's going to feed your regular little honeybees. Just there isn't a pollinator that is not going to benefit from these little guys. Plant records. Plant space, 15 to 18 inches wide, 4 to 6 inches tall, so it's going to have a creeping habit. Bloom color is orange. I will be doing you a disservice if I do not flash up on the screen what this looks like in bloom. Blooms in the summer, hardy, zones 5 to 8. So I'm right in the sweet spot there. So I'm going to add this to my growing pile of things that'll need to be transplanted out soon. And of course, we're always going to water everyone in. These guys got watered in because they just shipped, and we're going to assume they need more water. These guys got watered in because they just transplanted. They definitely need more water, even though I made sure their soil blocks were nice and wet before I did the repotting. If a little bit of water splashes around some of the other plants, it's not a big deal because it is pretty warm in the greenhouse today. Right, this video is actually going to be a couple days long, so when you see me next, I'm going to be in a different shirt. Look at all that. I spent so little growing all this from seed. Okay, I spent a bunch on these, but they're perennials, so they're worth it. Although that said, these bee balms that I'm growing from seed are also perennial plants. I've got 8 pots. What I spent on the seeds for this, I'd been lucky if it had bought me 1 pot. And bee balm is another really great pollinator plant. As you can see, I am going all in on pollinator plants this year. If you caught my patio garden video, you know that I've got a bunch of totes up there and I need to build planters around them pronto. So that's what I'm working on right now, and it has taken up a lot of my time. I apologize for missing a video last week. I'd rather not have. Asparagus is generally grown from established crowns. So you can buy established asparagus crowns that are like a year or 2 old at your local nursery, or you can order them by mail. I don't recommend that. A lot of them will arrive not alive. I mean, it's hard to tell. They're dormant. So you're going to go to all that effort planting it regardless. And then if it's like my old asparagus garden at my old house, about 1/3 of them won't come up. And it will feel like a waste of time. This year I am trying growing from seed because I didn't want to dig the deep, long trenches that would be necessary growing from crowns, but I still want that asparagus. So I did start asparagus seeds back in February. Asparagus is a cold tolerant perennial. I think it's hardy down to what, zone 3 or 4 or something. It's pretty hardy. And so I started the seeds back when things were still pretty reliably freezing in the greenhouse, and the seedlings did great. And recently I was able to plant out my little asparagus ferns in their bed. Right now it's getting a lot of shade, but in my climate, asparagus isn't going to be putting up spears until like late May, early June anyway. So by that time, the sun should be high enough that the greenhouse isn't shading the patch anymore. And my hope is that the asparagus patch that I've chosen is going to get enough sun to feed those asparagus ferns and get me more and more spears every spring. We will find out. As to why my lettuce looks weird, so that lettuce is from last September. It's over 5 months old and it lasted through the winter. I'm actually quite shocked that it still hasn't bolted. Part of why it looks weird is I'm harvesting it hard, because if I let it build up the energy to bolt, it's more likely to bolt. But also we've still been getting some frosts at night, and the newer leaves tend to be a little bit more frost resistant than the older leaves. So by removing the older leaves and eating them, I'm leaving just the newer leaves on top, a little pom-pom of protection, if you will, and that allows me to have fewer frost-burned lettuce leaves on my really quite ancient lettuce plants. My goal this year is actually pretty lofty. I want to go 365 days of always having greens growing in my garden. All right, now I'm also growing rhubarb from seed this year. This will be in my last year growing rhubarb from seed until I sell this house, probably, because that stuff you only really have to plant it once, right? Rhubarb, it turns out, is very easy to grow from seed. I think a lot of people prefer to start it from root divisions, and that is generally preferable. If you have root divisions, you know exactly what that rhubarb is going to be like, how bitter it is going to be, how big it's going to be, because you're basically cloning it. I'm being a little bit risky by growing it from seeds. I've got a whole new rhubarb in my garden. But you know what? It's kind of exciting. So it's probably not going to be something I can eat this year because I just planted it and it's a teensy weensy little baby rhubarb. Maybe next year, if not next year, the following year. The good news is you shouldn't eat a lot of rhubarb because it's high in oxalic acid. It'll give you like kidney stones or bladder stones, one of those stones you don't want if you eat too much. So I'll be fine skipping the rhubarb for a little bit. In this bed, I've got 5 kinds of radishes. I've got some spinach, and I've got a couple kinds of lettuce and some more spinach. So this spinach I started early in February in my greenhouse, and it is about ready to start picking. This spinach I direct sowed in March. So we've got a little bit of succession planting going on. We'll see if I get to harvest this before it bolts. But I always grow black-seeded Simpson lettuce because I think it's fantastic. And as long as I'm able, I will be growing Merlot lettuce because it's gorgeous. These right here are the black Spanish radishes that I started in my greenhouse. I think they got set back a little bit when I transplanted them out, but they're doing fine now, and I should get a harvest before it's time to turn this whole bed into a tomato bed. Peas. These are fava beans that are doing great. I collected these seeds myself from fava beans I grew last year. So it looks like this may be a self-sustaining crop as long as I remember to save seeds. And I'm cool with that. Fava beans are a little bit awesome. This is where the carrots were planted. If you are growing carrots and you feel like a failure, that just means that you're growing carrots, not that you failed. These have finally come up to where I can see I'm not a failure. And oh man, the wait for carrots is excruciating. So it looks like I'm not quite done watering this area twice a day. More peas. Here's my weird looking lettuce. You can see that it is getting pretty close to bolting. If we look at this stalk, you see the spacing on lower down on the lettuce. It's pretty regular. It's pretty close together. And then this is recent history. As we move up, the little nodes where the leaves are getting farther and farther apart. You can see that continuing into the existing leaves. So this one is probably going to bolt before I can harvest it again, but we'll see. I'm going to keep it around. If it bolts, I can feed it to my chickens, so it's not a complete loss. Oh, check this out. These are my currants that in a previous video you got to watch me pruning them. They are flowering right now. Currant flowers are not particularly gorgeous, but they do the job. They seem to get pollinated. It looks like I am going to have a pretty good bumper crop of currants off this plant this year. I'm also beginning to see some growth on my grapevines. So here's where I headed it off. It looks like that. I couldn't tell that wasn't dead wood. So I'm very excited to see that this is in fact live wood, and all of my buds are starting to break. Right now this is basically an allium bed, but right here in the middle I'm going to be planting perpetual spinach. So here I have onions. This is where perpetual spinach will grow. I'm going to grow it on a little bit longer in the greenhouse. And then here is garlic. Last year I grew too much garlic. And this year we'll grow a little bit less, but it's doing really well. It's very, very advanced for right now. And over there are some chickens who are wondering when I'm going to give them treats. If you come over into the greenhouse with me, you don't have a choice. So all of these chive plants have grown from seed and they're doing so well. Also here in the greenhouse, I've got, so these are goji berries. This is a goji plant that I'm growing from seed. These are bee balm. They're going to be gorgeous pollinator plants. Over here are my snapdragons from seed. So many snapdragons. These were effectively free because I collected the seeds last fall. On this side, I've got red flax. This side is sweet alyssum. Here's some sweet alyssum from last year, just chilling in the greenhouse. Over here, Maximilian sunflower seedlings. I just call these chocolate sunflowers. If I remember during editing, I'm going to pop the Latin name up on the screen. So they're cute little yellow flowers. They have kind of a low growth habit. And when you smell them, they smell like chocolate. And I love that for them. Here are some blackberry lilies coming up from seed. A beautiful little lily. They're called blackberry lilies because the seeds look like blackberries, the seed clusters. Here are some red Welsh onions that I need to plant. I think today I need to plant them. Thyme for my herb garden, some dianthus for prettiness, and here's the perpetual spinach that I'm growing on to go out into the garden, and some columbine. That's where the chives were before I potted them up. Oh, super excited. This is a bush cherry plant that arrived in the mail with my peach tree. I'm going to show you my peach tree, but that's a separate video. Look at that little guy. So the way we think about growing fruit trees is that we put it in the ground and we're like, my work is done. Free food forever. Spoiler alert, that is false. So that's really what's going on in the garden. Pop your comments in the comments. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel for more train of consciousness, BS, and occasionally an informative video as well. Thank you so much for joining me here in my garden today. Hope you have a wonderful time in your own.